What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee&Toys here. It is Saturday, and I don't have any toys to review today. I went grocery shopping this morning, and I was thinking to myself, it's been a while since I've just conversed with you all and talked about toy news. I don't really do the toy news thing, but today we're going to talk about toy news because it is Yojo June, and everybody else is talking about it, so we probably should too. So, with that being said, let's talk about toys. But before we talk about toys, let's talk about the coffee you're drinking and the coffee I'm drinking. The coffee I'm drinking today is good old number 3 from coffeebrandcoffee.com. Number 3 is their medium roast. This is actually from the K-Cup because I was very lazy. Just ran over to my Keurig, popped it in, made my coffee, and it tastes wonderful. Now, if you're strictly against K-Cups, Larry Hama's against K-Cups, so Larry would not like this. There's your fun fact of the day. So yeah, they have whole bean, ground. You can buy your own burr grinder from them. Make your own consistency of grind at home. Anything you want. Make sure you click that link in the description down below. Help this channel out. Help yourself out. Help an American business out. Save yourself 5% or use the promo code Coffee&Toys. That's COFFEENTOYS. So with that being said, we're going to talk about all the fun stuff that's going on in the world of G.I. Joe and a couple other little things. Just kind of to give you a quick, here's what we're going to talk about today. I got myself some notes over here. It is Yojo June, so we're going to talk about all the drops that have happened, my thoughts on those figure drops and what's going to be released over the rest of this year going into next year. We're going to talk a little bit about San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to talk about the new G.I. Joe upcoming video game, The Wrath of Cobra. Where's Super 7? I mean, they're being pretty quiet. Aren't they supposed to be bringing us some O-rings? We're going to talk about the Skybound Entertainment's Kickstarter, the G.I. Joe compendium. Definitely want to talk about that. And then I think we're going to wrap it up talking about the Haslab Cantina that was recently announced and, you know, what my thoughts are around that because as you guys know, I do collect Star Wars Vintage Collection. And yeah, I'm moderately interested, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So with that being said, and hopefully I remember during this to throw up some pictures as I'm talking about it. I'm just going to be pulling it up on my screen, telling you some of my thoughts, and let's dive into it. And we're going to start with the reveals that were presented to us on Tuesday, June 4th. That was the first part, I guess, of Yojo June. And of course, we got lots of information, and I'm sure if you're into G.I. Joe Classified, you've already seen tons of videos about this stuff. I elected to be a little quiet on the front. Like I said, I don't really talk about toy news because there's other places, other avenues to do that. But I felt like I wanted to share my thoughts after looking at these figures a few different times, getting more pictures because obviously they started leaking early. Then we actually had the reveal on Tuesday the 4th, and since then they've been releasing like the artwork and things like that, and I kind of want to give you guys my perspective if it means anything to you at all. But before I do that, make sure you like the video, make sure you hit that subscription button down below, set it to all notifications so you never miss a Coffee&Toys video. But that being said, of course at the onset they announced 2 character reveals, and those were Dial Tone and the Saw Viper. I'm of the two, I'm much more excited about the Saw Viper. I saw a comment online where someone said when they do the glamour shots, they ought to put the Quick Kick classified figure and the Doc classified figure in it and just have him mowing those two down. Man, I thought that was a dark but an accurate comment. If you're not familiar with it, you don't know much about the Saw Viper. Yeah, the Saw Viper is pretty much the most badass Viper in the G.I. Joe Marvel run of comics. He killed like 3 or 4 or 5 G.I. Joes. He just mowed a whole bunch of them down that were down in a hole. Very just straight up murder. So for me, the Saw Viper is a standalone character. He's not a troop builder. I know some people do use him as a troop builder. I, in my case, will not be using him as a troop builder. He will be a standoff, one-of-a-kind person. And one thing that's interesting, they gave us that character reveal of the Saw Viper, and I wonder if that helmet's going to come off. If you know the answer to that question, drop me a comment and let me know, because I can't remember if the actual helmet's going to come off. I would assume yes, but I mean, I don't know. And Dial Tone. Dial Tone's fine. Dial Tone is one of those characters that hasn't aged well. I mean, he's still a communications officer, but much like, I mean, not even to the extent of mainframe, who I think in the modern era they changed him to data frame, try to get up with the times. Dial tone's one of those ones that, as a true to the original figure, looks perfect. I do like that they added around the neck the microphone or whatever it is that communications officers wear around their neck, so it's basically hands-free. I like that. I need to see more. That large backpack to me that's a thing that was an element of its time, and I would just like an updated dial tone. But that being said, for those of you that love dial tone, I think it's a spot-on, dead ringer, excellent day one pickup. So once they got past that, they obviously showed, I can't remember which order they did it. I think they actually showed Storm Shadow, Iron Grenadier Bat. Who was the other one that I'm obviously forgetting? Storm Shadow. Oh, Alpine. And so I'll be straight up with you. I have not pre-ordered any of these. I looked at these figures, and I'll tell you right now my order of these figures, that in order that I want them. I definitely want the Iron Grenadier Bat, which shocked me because I didn't think I'd want that one at all. But that snow or that Arctic Bat head repurposed as an Iron Grenadier alt head looks amazing in golden red. That will actually be my default one. Now what I hope, I haven't actually tested it yet, is I hope the alternate head, with the red faceplate, will fit on a version 1 classified bat. But I'm worried about that because I did a review of some of the bats. I think it was the Crimson Bat at one point. Can't remember which one, but they changed the ball joint size between the original bat and subsequent bats afterwards. So I'm going to be sad if that alternate head on the Iron Grenadier Bat doesn't fit on a version 1 classified bat, because I really want to have one that's more close to the cartoon. But then I read people online saying, oh, they'll probably give us a cartoon colors accurate bat in the retro line at some point. And I agree with that statement. I mean, it's an easy moneymaker for Hasbro, right? So Iron Grenadier Bat is definitely one I want to get. The Iron Grenadier himself, I love that figure at first glance. And then I noticed the cuffs on the arms, and I can't get past the cuffs on the arms. Though that bothers me to have a leather jacket or what looks like a proper leather upper suit outfit with cuffs on the end. It's a poor use, in my opinion, of that mold from the Stalker and the Grunt. They should not be using those forearms for this figure. They should have just tooled up some new ones or used something else. I've also read a lot of people complaining about the gray Crimson Guard pants, and that I think there was a promo shot for maybe the back of the package where, I can't remember, I think they had like black or dark gray pants, but then the actual figure is going to be light gray, and people were complaining about that. And then they said, well, why, if you're going to use the Crimson Guard legs, why didn't you use the Crimson Guard boots as well? And I can't remember either way, but I get it. I get some people's complaints, but I think I like the tie. I like the chest and the headpiece. Looks great. I like the removable helmet. I love the picture they have him punching Alpine, or maybe it was a Steel Brigade trooper. I thought that was all really fun and good. But yeah, I will pick up that one. But like I said, I haven't pre-ordered any of these. I'm going to take my chances just finding them out in the wild. I don't think there's going to be any problems finding any of these figures per se. Next one is the Storm Shadow. And the Storm Shadow one is the one I wanted to like the most. Version 2 Storm Shadow is an excellent figure from the vintage line. It was actually the first modern era G.I. Joe figure I picked up. I think him and Flint, I picked those both up. So I really wanted to like it. And I still do like it. I just don't like the red in it, because I don't like the red in it, and I don't like the claws. There's a lot of little things I don't like about it. And then again, I read online someone said, well, that, and I actually brought this up with a few friends of mine. I said, this makes sense. This post I read is, the more we complain about things we don't like, they're just going to read those complaints and they're going to give it to us again in the retro line, and we're going to wind up double buying. I mean, they did it with Storm Shadow, the second version of Storm Shadow in the classified line. They gave us a more truer to V1 vintage Storm Shadow in classified, and then they redid it again with more classical wraps around the arms and legs and put him on a retro card. So does it feel like cheating to you? Because it kind of feels like cheating to me for Hasbro. It's just they're going to re-release figures to make them more vintage accurate while still giving us really cool versions, don't get me wrong. And that Storm Shadow is very nice. It's a very nice, the glamour shots look perfect. But man, I don't like the swords on the side. I don't like the claws. And the reason I don't like the claws is because if you look at some of the artwork shots, it looks like it's coming out of his hands like Wolverine style. I know he's grabbing onto them, but I'd rather see the ones that mount on the forearm in two places. That seems more accurate to me. And the swords on the side just seem more samurai, less ninja. And especially the extra skirt he has, a little more samurai, not as much ninja. He's a ninja at the end of the day. So, minor gripe with him, but I mean, I'll pick him up as well. As a matter of fact, I think Iron Grenadier Bat and Iron Grenadier are both sold out on Hasbro Pulse, but the other two are not. So speaking of the other two, we still have the final one to go to, and that's Alpine, who has the most egregious error, in my opinion, that he does not come with a backpack, and I am not happy about that because I might not even get Alpine at this point because who am I kidding? I'll probably get Alpine. I've never really liked Alpine. I just doesn't do it for me, but I need him to be by Bazooka, so I know I will wind up getting him. Maybe I'll play the long game on him, wait for another power play or whatever, power days, whatever they're called that they're running right now at Hasbro Pulse. If you're not familiar with that, go check out their website. Spend so much money, you get 15% off if you're non-member of Hasbro Pulse Premium, and if you're a premium member, you get like 35% off. But their pickings are really slim right now. So that being said, Alpine not having the backpack really bothers me a lot. It doesn't seem like they've got tons of backpacks to choose from. I mean, I guess I can just as easily use an extra backpack from one of my other G.I. Joe figures, but I want a backpack that could actually hold his pickaxe, or whatever you call him, his ice axe. I don't know what the proper term is. Hell, I live in Colorado. You think I would know this kind of stuff with living next to mountains, but I don't. I'm a Midwest boy at heart. So that was the actual drops that came out, and then they announced the Slaughter's Marauders, or I'm sorry, Mad Marauders, because we can't call them Slaughter's Marauders anymore. Those will go for pre-order, I believe, next week. And, of course, we got the redo of Sergeant Slaughter. And we might as well talk about the big hubbubaloo about what happened with that. Evidently, there's going to be a running change for the packaging of this figure. Evidently, the first package showed Sergeant Slaughter's character with his hat, or his campaign, whatever they call it, campaign hat. I don't remember what the proper term is. Apologies. With him not wearing that or his sunglasses. And they sent one to Sergeant Slaughter himself, and he said, nope, we need to change this. I need to be wearing my campaign hat and my sunglasses. And so they completely redid it. So that means now we've got this running change that you may get one or the other. We don't really know. We don't know how many have already been produced. Obviously enough that people have already been reviewing them over in the East. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. If I can get both versions, I will. But I'm not going to be terribly bent out of shape if I don't. That's not a character I need a running change of, but he looks really great. So that being said, the other Mad Marauders is the 2-pack of Lowlight and Spirit Iron Knife. That's going to be a definite pickup for me. I love both those characters. I think Spirit looks wonderful. I like that they gave him a different eagle other than Freedom. And Lowlight, I've always enjoyed Lowlight, so I think he'll look really good as well. And not much to say about that. It's a 2-pack. If you want those alternate characters, or those characters in their alternate colors, I think that's a definite easy pickup. And I believe those go on sale next week, June 11th. And I believe the Sergeant Slaughter, let me just pull it up real quick. I believe that Slaughter is going to be a Amazon exclusive. So let's see, Sergeant Slaughter. Does he show up? He probably won't even show up. Yeah, he's not going to show up yet. I believe he was going to be an Amazon and fan channel exclusive, and then the Slaughter, or the Mad Marauders 2-pack, is going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, I believe. That's how that's going to be. Again, I don't think you'll have any problems picking up either one of these characters. They will be a higher price point. Slaughter will be probably $35. Forgot to mention he does come with that duffel bag, that cloth duffel bag. Looks excellent. Comes with some boxing gloves. Just a few more things. Comes with a saluting hand, so that's really good as well. And yeah, I think those are definite pickups, and I will be pre-ordering those because I'm not going to miss out on getting those figures. And then finally, they jumped into the retro G.I. Joe Classified Collection. The next 3 figures coming out, which kudos to the Hasbro team for at least keeping Cobra Commander under wraps. I'm sure there's a few people that were disappointed with the announcement of that, but I think they made up for it well. So we'll start with Cobra Commander. Obviously, he was the one that was not leaked, and there was this unfounded rumor that, personally, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. You know, there was just people saying, "Oh, it's going to come out as it's going to be the hooded version." That's what the rumor was, and I thought to myself, no, Hasbro's not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're too far that one direction, and they're not going to give us a hooded Cobra Commander. And sure enough, it turned out it was true. There was no such thing as this retro Cobra Commander being having a hood included with it, but they did do a great job of surprising us with a vac metal battle helmet. So yes, the retro Cobra Commander with the vac metal faceplate mask looks fantastic. It is done in cartoon colors, which I'm kind of struggling with a little bit. I wish it would have been more of just give me what you gave me in the HasLab, but put the regular Cobra insignia on his chest and give me the vac metal, and I'll be happy. But they mixed it up a little bit more, and that's fine. Maybe they've got something else planned. I know there's this talk about the Once a Man Cobra Commander that's supposed to be coming out at San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll see where that goes. Let me know what you thought about that Cobra Commander, because I think it's great. If it wasn't in cartoon colors, I would say it's the definitive, this is the Cobra Commander you need, if you like the battle helmet version. But yeah, so that was the first one that they announced last in the series. And then, of course, the other two were Stalker, Retro Stalker, who looks perfect. Nothing wrong with that figure other than I need to have it. Looks great, classic colors, no complaints there, looks wonderful. And then, of course, the one that everybody loves and hates for some reason, the Cobra Trooper with the more vibrant blue colors. A lot of people saying, hey, they could have done this a lot better other than just a straight repaint of this figure that we've gotten numerous times. And I understand that complaint to a little extent. But man, they gave it correct web gear in my opinion. But there are a lot of people out there on the boards and whatnot saying, you know, they could have done better, and maybe they could have, and I'm not going to disagree with it. But there are things that Hasbro, and again, I'm not trying to be a Hasbro apologist, I'm just trying to be real about it. You know, when they have their set number of dollars they can spend on that retro lineup, and who knows, maybe the tooling for that Cobra Trooper, all of it was already available, and they wouldn't have to pull different pieces of tooling together to make that. It could have been all in the same exact block of metal. And they're like, you know what? We just push out a whole bunch more of a guy we've done 1,000 times, different paint decals, and we're done. And different web gear. And for me, perfectly fine. I think it looks great. I'll probably get one or two of them. I do have a lot of troopers, like I'm sure most of you do, from all the ones we've gotten. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it looks really good. Also read some people saying, well, why doesn't he come with a Dragunov? And I mean, he comes with a sniper rifle. It's not a Dragunov, but there are also plenty of third-party folks making 1/12 scale size weapons. If you really want your Cobra Trooper to have a Dragunov, they're out there for you. Not worth complaining about. So yeah, that's where I think that's pretty much where we landed with everything that was announced. Let me jump in here real quick, because the other Mark forgot to mention the other reveal of Yojo June, which of course was the Stinger. Yes, the worst kept secret probably of all the items was that the Stinger was going to come out and is available for pre-order on the 18th of June. It is an Amazon and fan retailer exclusive, which means basically Amazon and Pulse. So if you're interested in getting the Stinger, it is going to come up on June 18th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, it comes with, it's basically the vamp, but it's got the doors on it. You guys know what the Stinger is. And does come with a Cobra Stinger driver. I think they call him the driver. They don't call him anything else. I'm looking at him on the screen right now. But you do get those cool blast effects that we've seen before that come with scrap iron. And the Trooper is just your standard Trooper. Done in different shades of gray. A little bit of contention on some people saying that the original driver never had red in the mask, and this one does. I like the red. It's a nice pop to the figure. But yeah, count me in for at least one of those, maybe two. Again, same thing as with my Vamp on the shelf. Where do I put things? But anyway, back at it. Pre-orders, and those pre-orders were going up, I think, the week of the 18th, if I'm remembering correctly, because they're doing one a week, so the 11th, so I think those are going to be the week of the 18th. And I will pre-order the Cobra Commander and the Trooper. I might take my chances on the Stalker. I'm not sure yet. Check back with me. I'm not sure if I'll pre-order the Stalker. He looks great, though. He really does. So what else are we got to talk about here? I got to pull up my notes again, because I think that pretty much covered everything that we heard. Oh, they did do a name drop of Footloose. So we are getting Footloose. He is on the way. He's a pipeline reveal, I guess is what they call him. So yeah, I like Footloose. Glad to hear that he's going to be made. And yeah, tell me what you think about Footloose. So I think that pretty much covers all the G.I. Joe stuff that was announced on Tuesday. Let me know what your favorite part was, favorite announcement, favorite reveal, blah, blah, blah. All that fun stuff. Because, again, for me, it's the Cobra Commander. I think it looks great. That's definitely something I'm going to pick up. And then my second favorite is probably either the Slaughter's Marauders or Mad Marauders 2-pack and Sergeant Slaughter. And then finally, probably the Storm Shadow and the Iron Grenadier and the Iron Grenadier Bat. So, all that out of the way, let's move on to San Diego Comic-Con, because there is some stuff we want to talk about there. And of course, some of the big things we're talking about at San Diego Comic-Con, the rumor mill has it that we'll get our Dragonfly, a more of a production-ready piece that we should be getting later this year. They'll be revealing that. G.I. Joe does have its own panel, so expect a lot of stuff to come out of that. There's a lot of figures we've not heard anything about for a long time. Expect there to be a large reveal at San Diego Comic-Con, figuratively and literally, because they're supposed to also be announcing the next HasLab, supposedly, for G.I. Joe. And popular opinion right now says it's going to be the Cobra Rattler. And I'm okay with that. Much like the Dragonfly, I have no idea where I'm going to put it. But if it is the Rattler, I'm cool with that. I'm happy with it. I would love to have a Wild Weasel figure. I'm just trying to figure out what else they would include with that. Yeah. We'll have to see till July. I think we got a little over a month before San Diego Comic-Con. When is San Diego Comic-Con? Let's find out real quick, because I don't know. San Diego Comic-Con 2024 will be July 25th to the 28th. So we do have a while before it gets a little over a month. And yeah, I think that'll be fun to see what they reveal. I think the Nemesis Immortal is going to be revealed. And I did catch from the Full Force podcast this morning, whenever I was listening to the show, that the picture, that the Nemesis Immortal figure will be based on how he appears in the Cobra Commander Limited series. So that's cool. So basically, the figure, Nemesis Immortal, will look like what he looks like in that comic book series. If you haven't picked up that comic book series, make sure you pick up the trade paperback of it. It's fantastic. Or check out my reviews of the 5-issue limited series. But yeah, San Diego Comic-Con, as far as other reveals go, I there's going to be a lot. I mean, there's plenty of leaks out there of what's coming out in the pipeline as far as, things that have been told to us in the past. Like, we know, oh gosh, I think Heart Wrencher, or whatever her name is, Dreadnought, is supposed to be coming down the line. They've told us Footloose. Road Pig's supposed to be coming. There's a lot of figures that we've heard the names of that we haven't seen yet. So I expect there to be, with this G.I. Joe panel, it just to be chocked full of reveals. So definitely looking forward to July San Diego Comic-Con when it comes to G.I. Joe. But let's switch gears. Let's switch gears for a moment. And let's talk about G.I. Joe, The Wrath of Cobra. That's right. There is a new video game on the horizon called G.I. Joe, The Wrath of Cobra. If you've been under a rock for a while, or maybe you've forgotten about it like I have, they did make an announcement Tuesday. I think they did it on the same day as the Hasbro team did their reveals for Yo-Jo June, that a playable demo is actually available right now on Steam. If you're a PC player, you can go out and you can download the demo for free right now and play it. And who made that game? I should really prep a little more. Wrath of Cobra. Let's see who made that. G.I. Joe, Wrath of Cobra on Steam is created by Maple Powered Games. Is the developer, and the publisher is indie.io. And yeah, I'm looking at it right here online. I actually have played the demo a couple times now. I did play it a little bit yesterday on my lunch break, and I like it. It's fun. It's a fun beat 'em up game, multiplayer. And if you get the demo, if you go download the demo, I don't know if you can download it for for PlayStation 4, 5, whatever, or Xbox. I know you can for Steam because that's where I got it. And yeah, the intro is great. It's all very cartoony. The demo lets you play as 3 different characters. You can choose between Duke, Scarlet, or Snake Eyes. Each one of them has their own different types of movesets, specials, strengths, weaknesses, that kind of thing. And there's 2 different levels you can play through. There's one where you are actually on the Cobra air carrier from the cartoon series. And then there's another one where I think you're in a Cobra base. I can't remember which base it is. And so yeah, I ran through and played it. And again, it's just a demo. It's not going to be the final release. I was able to, as I played it, there's a lot of things they need to polish up. But as I was playing it, I found myself humming along with the background music, enjoying just beating up Cobra Trooper after Cobra Trooper. At one point, you have to fight a Hiss tank. It's actually a pretty easy battle. But then the 2 bosses of the 2 respective levels are Baroness is the boss of one level, and Dr. Mindbender is the boss of the other. So yeah, it's a fun game. I enjoyed playing it. I'll definitely pick up a copy when it comes out. No idea when the actual release date is. According to my screen, it says release date coming soon. Who knows? I don't know what that means. But it is a really fun game. You collect like floppy disk every time you defeat an enemy. Some floppy disks fall on the ground. I assume you use that to maybe buy more unlockables, stuff like that. The other thing I thought that was really fun was that some enemies drop their weapons. So like the classic laser blaster, the X something 7. Some troopers drop that, and you can pick it up and use it as your own default weapon rather than just punching and kicking. There's special moves, there's things like that, there's power-ups, and yeah, it's a fun playthrough. Just you're not going to waste a lot of brain cells thinking. It's just quick playthrough, and yeah, pick up that demo. It's really fun to play. I enjoyed it, and like I said, they do need to polish some things. In regards to that one thing that I didn't like was that both Scarlet and Duke's dashing move, basically they can dash and do a drop kick sort of like thing. It seems to hang on a little bit too long. And what I mean by that is if you do this drop kick motion, you do the drop kick motion, and then you just kind of lay on the ground just a little too long before your character gets back up. And I don't know if you can get attacked while you're in that position, but I didn't like that I could go drop kick somebody and then I'd have to wait almost a full second before my character would stand back up. I didn't like it that much. And there were a couple other things that, again, if you play the demo, you'll see some things they need to polish up, but, it's probably 90% complete the way it is. And it's a fun game. There's going to be lots of characters. I mean, I'm watching the demo video right now, and it looks like Gung Ho, Roadblock. We're going to get quite a number of G.I. Joes. So looking forward to that. G.I. Joe, The Wrath of Cobra, coming soon. Demo available now. Okay. So that was really fun. I enjoyed that. Question for you. Question for the masses. Where is Super 7? Super 7 is quiet, and it is Yojo June, and we have not heard anything about these O-ring figures that they are supposed to be bringing out. A little concerning to me. Now, you guys tell me in the comments if you're even interested in the O-rings, because I know I am. But there are no O-rings announcements from Super 7, which is very strange. They told us they were doing this late last year, and we've went half a year already without hearing anything whatsoever. I'm hoping they bring something to San Diego Comic-Con. My guess is they will, because they always have something at San Diego Comic-Con every year. And they basically have like a whole pop-up store that you have to and they give out these really cool, I guess I should show you if you've never seen these. I was just playing with it a minute ago. They give out every year these little Cobra coins. This is last year's. It's got Cobra Commander's face on it. I think it's last year's. Let me see. Yeah, this is last year's, and then they put a little blurb on the back. And then the year before that, they did this one. They did this one the year before, so this one was the Cobra insignia in red. And yeah, they're just 10 or something like that. They're cheap. But But if you visit them, if you go to their store, you get those for free. So I'm expecting there to be another one of those this year. But what I'm really interested in is the O-ring figures. Super 7, it's Yojo June. Can you throw us a bone? We'd like something to wet our whistle, so to speak, before San Diego Comic-Con. But I am concerned that we haven't heard anything on O-ring. Because I think they just announced today some Ghostbusters O-ring figures. 3 3/4 inch O-ring Ghostbusters. I don't think Super 7's making those. I think those are made by Hasbro. But come on, Super 7, give us something. Yeah. So let's switch gears again. And now that we've switched gears again, let's talk about the Skybound Entertainment G.I. Joe compendium set of the Marvel run of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. Yes, everybody and their brother knows about this, and I'm probably the last person to talk about it, but it is there. And it is over or near $2 million. As a matter of fact, let me pull it up real quick. Let's see where it is at right now. You know, again, they needed to make $50,000 for this Kickstarter, and they're at almost $2 million right now. I mean, that's absolutely bonkers. They are at $1.89 million of the $50,000 they needed. That's absolutely insane. It's like pretty close to 3,000% of what their goal was. So yeah, I'm not going to run you through the whole thing because I'm sure you've all heard about it. I'm just going to tell you once again what I backed and what's coming out for the future. I was actually talking to some my friends over at Hero Headquarters. Special shout out to Hero Headquarters about this compendium set, and they were telling me what they were going to be getting, and they asked what I got. Of course, I got the His Tank level with the signed Larry Hama bookplate or nameplate, whatever you want to call it, and due to the overwhelming support of this project at $2 million, they're actually going to release more nameplates. And this one's going to be of Andy Kubert's, what's his name? I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. Andy Kubert is going to release they're going to do a nameplate or bookplate of the Snake Eyes design by Andy Kubert, signed by Larry Hama. And I think that's fantastic for the people that missed out on the original nameplate. I'm struggling myself whether I want to switch from the first one to the Snake Eyes one because they look great. And there's only going to be 500 of these. So if you're interested, next Tuesday, they're going to add that tier for the nameplate for the Snake Eyes Andy Kubert nameplate signed by Larry Hama. So if you're interested in it, I think you have to get a physical set of the compendiums. I think that's the minimum to get you in on it. And let me see. Let me make sure I'm saying that correctly because they already hit that one. So that was at the $1.8 million goal. At the $2 million goal, they're going to do a exclusive Kickstarter comic, G.I. Joe Yearbook #1, the Larry Hama cut. Will be included with all physical pledges. So a lot of people were worried because the compendium is not going, when they announced what all comics were going to be included, that did not include G.I. Joe Yearbook #1. And the reason it didn't include G.I. Joe Yearbook #1 is because it's just a reprint of G.I. Joe issue 1. That's all the original yearbook was. But people were still like, hey, can you really call it a complete run if you're not including the first year's yearbook, even if it's a repeat? So Skybound, which I think in a very smart move, said, okay, we will include it as a physical copy. It won't be part of the compendium. It'll actually be a physical comic, Yearbook 1, and it'll have Larry Hama's original dialogue in it, which if you're not familiar with it, there's a line by General Hawk in the first issue, Colonel Hawk, I guess, in that case, where he basically says, Larry's original script said, we're soldiers, I'm paraphrasing a bit, our job is to do the impossible and be forgotten. That was the original Larry Hama script. The editor, Jim Shooter, at the last moment changed it to something along the lines of, we're soldiers, our job is to do the impossible and make it look easy, or it was something else. It was changed. And, Larry has always kind of said he didn't like that they changed it on him, made it more of a neutral stance when he was trying to say, this is the realities of war. You do this incredibly difficult thing every day, and no one cares at the end of the day. It's kind of where I think Larry was trying to go with it. The editor had different thoughts, so they are going to include Larry's original version of that of that speech, that mini speech from Hawk, which is also in the first issue. They re-released the original cut, the Larry Hama cut, when they started with G.I. Joe 301. They added on that you could get that that version of. I think it was in 301. Maybe it was its own standards. Maybe it was his own standalone. I can't remember. I did the review. You can check it out on my channel. So yeah, it's really cool. $2 million, which they're closing in on rapidly. Everybody gets a physical pledge, does the physical pledge, will get a copy of yearbook #1. So very cool on Skybound's part. All sorts of stuff. If you haven't supported it yet, you have until June 26th in the middle of the afternoon. So it'll be June 26th, 1 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. There, I did it for most of the folks in North America there. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Like I said, I think they're going to have no issue hitting that $2 million mark. And let's see. So the last thing that I have on my notes, before we get into it, again, please, if you like the video, it helps out the channel a lot. Or pick yourself up some coffee brand coffee. Let's talk about the HasLab Cantina. Yes, Hasbro Pulse announced on their channel, on their site, the latest Star Wars HasLab. Now, as we know, HasLabs regarding Star Wars can be very hit or miss as far as what people want. To add to this, weeks prior to the announcement, it was actually leaked, some pictures, some mock-ups, whatever you want to call them, of the cantina. So everyone knew this was coming. But they dropped it. The HasLab Cantina, Hasbro, HasLab, whatever you want to call it. I'm clicking on it right now so we can talk about it. The Star Wars, the Vintage Collection, Mos Eisley Cantina. When I saw this, I was like, yep, I want this. And the reason I want it, and then I'll tell you the reason I wanted it, some things that really shocked me, and then some things that are now making me saying, do I really want this? So, when they announced it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a really cool playset. And I think a lot of people agree, it is a pivotal part of most people's memories of Star Wars. If you've watched Star Wars, the original Star Wars, 1977 Star Wars, the cantina scene is very important. The first time you see, Obi-Wan Kenobi protect Luke, I guess it's technically the second time because he did it for the Tuskens. He pulls out that lightsaber, he cuts off Ponda Baba's arm, and we meet Han Solo and Chewbacca. We get the scene with Greedo, all the crazy characters, the treatment of the droids. It's a pivotal scene in the Star Wars mythos. To have that as a playset, I think is fantastic. To have it in 4-inch scale makes me even more happy. Couple things though. First of all, the coolest thing about it is the sisters. So if you don't know about these two sisters, they have a couple of pictures. They're shown a couple times in the Mos Eisley Cantina during the movie. If memory serves me right, and I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me if I'm wrong. If memory serves me right, they've never released these two figures because there's always been some sort of dispute. Because if memory serves me right, and again, I might be wrong, these two women, these two ladies, were part of a modeling agency. And so something happened where their likenesses could never be used for some reason, or maybe they just always said they didn't want their likenesses used. So they could never get a figure made of these two characters. And now, for the first time in almost 50 years, we get to have these two characters. This might be the only time you ever get these figures. And if I'm not a Star Wars completionist by any stretch of the imagination, but if you are, you have to get this set just for these two characters. And not only that, they're throwing in the bartender, whose name is... What is the bartender's name? I'm scrolling down because I know it's in here somewhere. His name is Wuher. W-U-H-E-R. I didn't know that was his name. So, I don't think he's ever been made before. Drop me a comment. Has he ever been made? I don't recall seeing him. It seems like everybody in Star Wars has been made. So, yeah. So we get Wuher. We get the Tanika sisters. That's the one in the green, the one in the blue. And those are with the base set, if I'm reading this correctly. So let's talk about the tiers. Well, let's talk about something new to HasLab. For this one, there is 2 different versions you can go for. You can go for the $399.99 version. We'll call that the $400 version. That is essentially half the playset. 3/4 of the playset, we'll call it. Or you can spend $500, $499.99, and have a complete wraparound, full Cantina, Mos Eisley Cantina. It has all the walls. Essentially, the cheaper price tag gives you an open wall, so you don't have that section of the wall. Or if you want to do the full $500, you get the entire wall, and you're looking down into the playset. That's a lot of money. Hasbro, that's a lot of money. And right now they are setting at, they need 8,000 backers. It's only been open a day or two. And they're at just under 3,500. But they need 8,000 in the next 30 some days. Or 29 days, I don't know. July 9th. Oh, yeah, July 9th. So 31 days out. That's a big price point. That's a huge price point. I want it. I told my wife about it, and she's like, get it. And I said, yeah, I should. But man, that's a big price point. And not only is it a big price point, it's a big playset. It's no, probably can't see it, but it's back behind my chair. It's no Preternia, or Eternia, not Preternia. But it's still a big playset. Let's see what the dimensions were. 32 by 19. That's not small. Essentially, almost 3 feet by, a little more than 1.5 feet. That's not a small playset. I have the the Jabba/Boba Fett throne room sitting over here on the floor. I've had it forever, and I haven't taken it out of its package yet because I don't know where I'm going to put it. I can't imagine having this huge cantina. So, that being said, the more I thought about it, that was the first thing that made me stop and think, do I want to support this project? The second thing I thought about was, okay, do you do the $400 tier or do you do the $500 tier? $100 for 2 more walls, basically, is what it winds up being. And one of the things about the walls that bothers me, I'll make sure to throw a picture up, is I'm sure they'll change it, but I don't like when you look at these walls, and I'm trying to find a picture of it, and like I said, hopefully I've already put it on the screen. What I'm going to call the exterior walls of the playset are super generic. Like, they look bad. Very, very not good. No bueno. And I'm trying to find a larger picture on here, and I'm just not finding it. But like, the interior walls of the cantina is what I want the exterior walls to look like as well. And right now they don't look like that. And I've seen people say, oh, it comes with a lot of little accessories, but there's no floor to the cantina, which I think is a solid point by those people that are mentioning that. The price point of this should have a floor, because you set this down, wherever you set it down, the floor is going to be whatever you set down. You set it on a black table, you got a black floor on your cantina. You set it on a white table, you got a white floor. You set it on wood, it looks like wood. You get my point, right? I think it should actually have a true floor into it that matches off with the rest of the cantina. Can't be that hard, Hasbro. Just a flat piece that maybe has where you can actually set down like the bar and it kind of snaps into it, so to speak. Fits together really nicely, looks good. I think they should be adding that, and I'm sure they're going to do revisions again. And this is not coming out till 2025, probably summer 2025 at the earliest, but it's got to fund first. And Hasbro's going to have to, I don't think Hasbro's going to get as close as they think they're going to get. I got that feeling that this is going to be a true Kickstarter type, HasLab, whatever, where you see that first day or two go up really high, and then it's just going to flatline. And they're going to have to do something, and then weeks are going to go by, it might go up a little bit. And then that last 24 to 48 hours is when you're going to see it take off, and hopefully they've known what they're going to do to help raise it along. Now, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the additional tiers. So at $8,000, you get the set. You get the Tanika sisters, you get Wooher. At $11,000, you get Greedo, a vintage collection style Greedo. They've released him before, from my understanding, but you get this one showing him in the cantina scene when he sticks the blaster up to Han. That's at 11,000, and that is I understand why they did it, but that is a weak. That's a weak one. That's a weak tier, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Drop a comment if you think I'm off base. At 14,000 backers, we're going to get Nabran Leeds. That is the alien that's wearing the silver suit, 4 arms, seems to wield a couple blasters, has a weird gas mask looking thing on. I don't even remember that character, but they were sitting at the bar. So yeah, that's another one. I think that's a good one. I think that one was one that you want to include because it was a character, an alien in the cantina. And then at 17,000 backers, you get Arliel Skyus. Is that how you say it? It's the Wolfman is what I call him. Or her, I don't know. But the Wolfman was one of the ones who was in the back of the cantina sitting down. And again, I think that is another excellent choice. Give us characters we haven't had before. Give us ones like this. But yeah, definitely could give us more. I think they should throw the Cantina band in here somewhere. Hell, I think they should, at $400 and $500, you should give us the damn Cantina band. But yeah, let me know what you think. Are you backing this project? If you are, convince me to back it, because right now I'm at a no. And generally when I back these things, I normally do like 2 of them, because one's obviously to take care of basically subsidizing my own purchase by selling the other. But then I think about it and I say to myself, is anybody really going to pay $800 for a single Cantina? I mean, I'm not going to get 2-to-1 on this. Nothing anymore is going 2-to-1. Or rare. But again, if they unlock all these tiers, and those tiers are going to be hard to hit, I really, truthfully don't see this thing hitting 17,000 tiers. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does fantastic. Any HasLab, I hope, does fantastic. For those people that want those particular things. But I think it's going to be really hard for them to... I think they'll hit the 8,000. I think it'll be tough. I think they're going to have to make some announcements. Like things they're going to correct, things they're going to add that they need to improve upon. I think it's going to be really hard to get that at 11,000 because nobody wants a Greedo that they can go get now, right? Yeah, kind of reminds me of the WCW Nitro Kickstarter that Mattel tried doing with the Nitro set, and they did the tiering all wrong, and like everybody wanted that first appearance warrior, and they made him like near the very end when they should have pushed him. And then they wound up, I can't remember what they did. They wound up changing all the tiers, and it didn't fund anyway because they wanted too much money, and there wasn't enough bite for that first tier to make it worth it. And I'm afraid that this Kickstarter for the Star Wars Vintage Collection Mos Eisley Cantina is going to be the same way. Let me know your thoughts. This is the one I think's like I said, Star Wars has a hard time selling anymore. Versus G.I. Joe, if you go to the Kickstarter for that compendium, as I mentioned earlier, $50,000, and they funded in 6 minutes and caught Skybound Entertainment, off guard completely. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Sorry I didn't have a video ready. I did pick up a couple figures this week. I guess I can just tell you what I've picked up this week. I did pick up a Classified Series version 1 Firefly. I used to have, the one with the Target exclusive Cobra Island Firefly. I picked up that at Hero Headquarters. Shout out to them again. Because I wanted it. I used to have him, got rid of him when I sold my collection, as I've mentioned before. So I did pick him up. I've also got a Classified Series Major Blood. I have both those figures in the package. Haven't opened them yet. And other things I picked up this week. I just picked up a box to hold my G.I. Joe comics because I ran out of room. I needed another box, but you guys probably aren't too interested in knowing that. I don't even know where I put that. And then, of course, I picked up the first issue of Scarlet, issue 1. That was a fantastic issue. Make sure you check out that review. And yeah, I haven't really picked up any other toys. I've got a couple of Creating G.I. Joe, or I think it's called Creating G.I. Joe. Yeah, I've got a couple more of these coming in from Dan Klingensmith. I've got the newest one of these coming in. What is it? Issue or number? No, that's not true. I just finished his Kickstarter. I'm waiting for those to ship. But there were a few of these I was missing. I think I was missing like 7 through 10 or something like that. So I think those are supposed to be in the mail today. These are fantastic. If you have not purchased these, do yourself a favor. Go to, I think it's creatinggijoe.com. buy these books. They are fantastic. If you want to, like, for example, just to show you guys, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, by the way. If you have not seen what is in some of these things, I mean, look at this. You get original artwork from the G.I. Joe creators themselves, the model sheets, original artwork, all sorts of things. That's Wetsuit. I actually broke this one out because I was comparing the original design of Storm Shadow to the classified and seeing why, trying to figure out why Lenny and team went with the red and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe it was on some original artwork somewhere. So these are fantastic to have around. I've got my stack of them right here. So as you can see, I don't have all of them, but I have all of them on the way. So as you can see, this is some of them. If you supported the latest Kickstarter that Dan was doing, you actually get a slipcover that's supposed to hold all of them. So that's very exciting. And yeah, I also got a couple of prints. I don't know if you guys, you know what? I'll get the prints real quick. Maybe you guys will be interested in seeing them. So apologies for walking off screen for a moment. So with my latest purchase, with the Kickstarter, you were able to pick out, based on how much you pledged, a couple of tiers. So I said, hey, I'll do a tier where you get a couple of posters to go along with it, or printouts, whatever you want to call them. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. Drive me crazy. So yeah, so I got it, and Dan messaged me and said, hey, did you fill out the which posters you want? And I go, oh, Dan, just send me a couple of Cobra Commanders, dealer's choice. I don't care what you send me. As long as it's Cobra Commander, I'm happy. So Dan sent me, I just got these in yesterday, after a crazy, like it went from where Dan lives, it got all the way to my hometown, and then got sent back, to me. So it was really weird. U.S. mail, gotta love it. So I got this print of all the original Cobra Commander stuff from his book, and this is awesome. So I need to get myself a picture frame somewhere from Michael's and get this posted. So that was the first one. And then he sent me the unproduced replicators Cobra Commander. Original art, all this stuff from his book. So that's awesome. Thank you, Dan, for sending those to that. I told you that privately, but I'll tell it to you publicly these were excellent choices, and I can't wait to get those hanging up on my wall somewhere. But yeah, with that, I think I'm done talking. So glad to hang out with you guys and just talk toys. I might do this more. Let me know if you guys would be interested in me doing live streams where we just talk about toys. I don't want to bore you guys with stuff you already know that you can find out from other more popular channels. But if you guys have interest in it, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff. With that being said, I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later. Let's go.